Sergio grew up experiencing profound moments that marked him since childhood, and he has always been certain that death is not the end, but a passage to another place. He believes this because his experiences have many similarities to what many have reported in their near-death experiences. The difference is that he has had them recurrently since he was young. The shock came when he discovered that in some of them, his sister also shared the experience with him, which made him understand that everything he was living was real. For this reason, he decided to share his story, believing that it can bring valuable insights to better understand our existence. Hello, I am Marcus, and it's a pleasure to welcome you here to Beyond the Life We Live. I hope you feel at home and absorb the lesson from this story we're about to tell. While you're here, please like and subscribe to the channel, as it's very important to us, helping us bring new and impactful stories to you. Since he was little, he experienced out-of-body experiences, different, but at the same time quite similar to those related to near-death experiences. This would happen when he lay down to sleep, where he would induce vibrations in his body. These vibrations would increase and circulate until he felt a buzzing or noise inside his head, realizing he was disconnecting from his physical body. Sergio would leave his body and walk through places he believes do not belong to this plane. These experiences happened without him knowing exactly what was going on, but he enjoyed doing it. The big turning point came one night when he found himself beside his body and noticed the presence of his grandmother, who had passed away from breast cancer years before. In that moment, he remembered her funeral. When he saw her in the coffin, even back then, Sergio was absolutely certain that she was not there, but somewhere else. He flew away, crossing a somewhat dark region, guided to a large stone structure. The door stood out for its grandeur. Looking inside, Sergio saw a well-lit place with people walking calmly, including couples happily walking arm in arm. The atmosphere was serene and welcoming. While other people strolled, his grandmother took him to meet some of them, introducing him as her grandson. One of those people commented that Sergio was a name he couldn't remember, but it was given to people who were still alive on Earth, who were just visiting there. A name also referred to those who go through near-death experiences. He found this information quite curious. Although he doesn't remember all the details of the rest of the visit, he recalls the gentle feeling of falling as he returned to his body, molding to the position he was lying in bed. The spirit, or however you prefer to call it, according to him, settles exactly as the body is in bed, fitting naturally and effortlessly without needing to plan anything. It's something that simply happens. Over time, he began to seek more information, reading rare books on the subject, and realized that this was not an isolated phenomenon, as other cultures also commented on these experiences. The biggest challenge in sharing these stories is that many confuse them with dreams. However, Sergio always explains that it is very different, because during these experiences, lucidity is much greater than in normal physical states, and many of them resemble the reported near-death experiences. He mentioned a specific episode with his sister, something unusual. One night, while sleeping, he found himself aboard a flying vehicle similar to a minibus, with seats facing each other. Among the passengers was his sister, and the fact that they were flying immediately made him realize he was out of his body. Sergio was startled when the vehicle began to land in an unexpected place. Accustomed to landing on runways, this maneuver confused him, questioning what was really happening. Eager to confirm the experience, he waited until morning to call his sister. When he spoke to her, avoiding leading questions, he simply asked if she had dreamed of anything the night before. The initial answer was negative, since she didn't remember anything. Then he asked if she had dreamed of an airplane. At that moment, she remembered all the details. She described that they were aboard a flying machine, performing a task in a place that resembled something spiritual. They hadn't talked beforehand, but the details she reported were the same as what Sérgio remembered. This experience was shocking for him. Sérgio reports that after falling asleep again, he went to his living room and noted how the environment was exactly like physical reality, without distortions like pink elephants or any absurdities. As he was curious about what it would be like to pass through the wooden door, upon crossing the wood, he noticed that the sensation was normal. Then he decided to test the same experience with the glass, perceiving a slight difference that he associated with his subconscious fear of glass, as it can be dangerous. At that moment, a fear hit him.
What if I get stuck inside the wall?
That thought made the wall resistant to his passage, preventing him from continuing. He quickly remembered that he was out of his body, and therefore didn't need to be afraid. Thus, the wall became permeable again, allowing him to pass through easily. In the midst of this experience, Sérgio heard an unexpected noise coming from the door, which startled him. He realized that by losing emotional control, he was sucked back into his body. He noted that this phenomenon always happens when one does not maintain emotional control while out of the body. He also reflected on the difference between dreams and out-of-body experiences. While dreams are disordered and illogical, out-of-body projections are extremely lucid, often providing a greater clarity of consciousness, another strong characteristic of near-death experiences. Then, on another night, the most remarkable experience occurred. Feeling the vibrations and realizing he was going to leave his body, Sérgio prepared himself. As he exited, he floated and rose, admiring the earth from above, and out of curiosity, he decided to fly away towards a point in space, feeling as if he were pulling the point instead of traveling to it. Looking around and realizing he was far from Earth, he saw a sphere of light and approached it, thinking it could be a moving craft. The first thing he noticed was the presence of beings inside it. They were different, and when they noticed him, there was a mental connection where he was told that they were not aggressive. The beings continued on their path, not caring about his presence, and he wondered where they came from, and received the feeling that they were not from any planet, but rather from space, as if these beings were seeking to understand the creation of the universe. Then he felt a presence that led him to float through space. Although he couldn't see clearly, he sensed the presence of someone tall and translucent. This being stated that it would show him something important, and then a point in space began to approach. Immersed in dazzling lights of all colors, he realized that each point represented a galaxy filled with stars and inhabited planets. Inside himself, he heard a deep voice that said,
"I created all of this out of love for you."
And thus he understood that living in the universe is an act of love from the Creator, an immense love that we cannot fully grasp. From that moment on, any difficulty he faced in life began to make sense in light of that love. Remembering that experience, he understood that even suffering is permeated by love. Today, he believes that work on earth is not just a path of personal growth, but something in service of something much greater. He believes that everyone is part of a grand plan, although he doesn't know exactly what it is. He sees his life's trajectory as a process that, despite difficulties, brought extremely positive changes over time.